Chapter 811. When Shi Yao was halfway done with her drink, Lin Jiej still hadn't appeared. She couldn't help but ask Lu Binlai, "Where did Lin Jiej go?" Lu Binlai raised his phone to take a look at the time. Seeing that it was about time, he pointed to the front and said, "Little Junior, look over there." Shi Yao followed Lu Binlai's line of sight and saw that someone had placed a projection cloth on the pitch-black rostrum. She was just about to ask Lu Binlai, "What's that for?" In the end, they saw a pin appear on the projection cloth. The pin was drawing rapidly. In the blink of an eye, a scene appeared on the projection cloth. It was an elevator. There were a lot of people, and among them, there was a man and a woman. The drawing was rather exquisite, but the other figures were simply drawn. When the drawing was completed, Shi Yao could clearly see that the man and woman were looking at each other. Then, the brush that had been drawing earlier landed on an empty space by the side and wrote a sentence. "Nice to meet you. What a pair of mesmerizing eyes." The painting stood still for about 10 seconds, and the projection cloth went blank again. It was the same brush, and it started drawing once more. The noisy field gradually quietened down. Eventually, Shi Yao, who was standing at the very front, could hear the rustling of the brush on the paper. In the picture this time, there was still a girl and a boy, but they were in different scenes. What was similar was that they were both holding a cell phone in their hands, and on the screen of the cell phone, there were 8 words. "Great luck, chicken dinner." Just like the first picture, after the entire picture was drawn, there was still a line of words in the blank space. "Fate caused us to meet in different worlds." Soon, the third drawing continued. It was a forest, and there was a man and a woman. Even though the drawing was very vague, it was clear from their expressions that they were in the midst of an argument. In the blank space of this drawing, there were only 3 words. "I'm sorry." The fourth drawing was a man and a woman admiring the sunset at the top of a mountain. In the blank space of this drawing, there were the words, "The most beautiful thing isn't the scenery but you." The fifth picture was of a man and a woman talking on the phone in different places. In the blank space of this picture was written, "I like you. I'm serious. I really like you." In the sixth picture, a girl was asleep and a guy was secretly kissing her. In the blank space of this picture, it was written, "Nice to meet you, the girl I like." In the seventh picture, there was only one boy and no girl. The caption next to it was, "After separating from you, there is only one thing that matters to me. Goodbye. See you next time." In the eighth picture, there were no boys, only a girl with a beautiful smile. In front of the girl was a small mountain of snacks, fruits, and all kinds of delicious food. Beside it were the words, "For the rest of my life, I will accompany you to eat, 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 eat." In the ninth picture, there were no boys or girls. Instead, it was a scenery with blue sky and white clouds, a cool breeze and hundreds of flowers, a bright moon and stars. The accompanying words were, "The blue sky accompanies the white clouds, the cool breeze accompanies the flowers, the bright moon accompanies the stars, and I will always be with you." When the 10th image appeared, the pen didn't move for a long time. A voice came from the projection cloth that had been quiet all this time. "There's a code word. I wonder if you understand it?" Chapter 812. Others might not be able to understand it, but Shi Yao understood the meaning behind those 3 words. The third painting was the one where he wrote his apology. It was a painting of him ignoring her after she asked him to cancel their engagement. Just as she was thinking of how she should rush him, he asked her out to the small forest. That was the first time they had met in private in 6 years after their engagement was forced, and it was also the first time they had argued. That day, he had been very unhappy when he first arrived. Initially, she didn't understand what was going on, and she didn't want to argue with him either. However, when he ruined 4 pieces of her cake, she angrily told him that she didn't like him at all. Perhaps because he had been humiliated by her words, his reply was just as vicious and merciless. He said, "Today, I'll leave my words here for you. Listen carefully. I, Lin Jiej, do not break off my engagement with you, will write my name upside down." Back then, she had thought that it was impossible for them to be together, and he must have thought so too. But as time passed, from spring to winter, the two of them ended up walking together. The projection screen on the rostrum had already been extinguished, but Shi Yao was still staring at it with her head tilted upward. The paintings that had appeared on the projection screen earlier could still be seen clearly before her eyes. Those were the testimonies of their journey together. Those were the bits and pieces of what had really happened between them. She had never turned her head back to look at them, but when she did, she realized that the two of them actually shared so many beautiful memories that were worth collecting. The quiet field gradually grew rowdy once more. Vaguely, Shi Yao could hear someone shouting, "Lin Jiej." Snapping out of her daze, Shi Yao scanned her surroundings, and to her left, she saw Lin Jiej carrying a huge bouquet of roses. Quite a few students had gathered around to watch the show, and there were also some who were taking pictures or recording videos with their phones. Despite the commotion around him, Lin Jiej's gaze remained fixed on Shi Yao's face. He had removed the casual attire he had worn during the day and was now wearing a formal white shirt and a black trench coat that reached his calves. He walked towards her step by step. Under the dim light of the sports field, Shi Yao watched as Lin Jiej drew closer and closer to her, and for a moment, she felt as if she was a princess in a fairy tale, watching her Prince Charming slowly walk into her life. He stopped in front of her about 1 meter away. The handsome him stared at her for a moment, then moved his lips. "Yao Yao, I have turned my name upside down. Are you willing to change your previous thought?" Shi Yao knew that Lin Jiej was referring to the idea of annulling their engagement. She looked back into his eyes and nodded. "Yes, I do." "Then, can we get to know each other again?" "Nice to meet you, Shi Yao. My name is Lin Jiej, but you can also call me Gu Jialin." As Lin Jiej spoke, he extended his arms toward Shi Yao. Amused by Lin Jiej's words, Shi Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter, but at the same time, she couldn't help but tear up. Chapter 8:13. Not too far away, amidst the crowd, Liang Mumu couldn't help but clench her fists tightly as she stared at the couple hugging each other. Did her cousin, Liang Jusi, call her over to Ji University's field just to let her witness this sight? The one who called her over wasn't her cousin, Liang Jusi, but the male lead of the couple, Lin Jiej. He knew that she liked him, and he also knew that she had always been at odds with Shi Yao, so he called her over to make her suffer. Did he really like Shi Yao that much? But wasn't he disdainful of Shi Yao from the very start? She clearly hated Shi Yao very much. She had hidden herself by Shi Yao's side for so many years just in case, so that she could strike a fatal blow at Shi Yao. But after so many years of scheming, why did the two of them still end up together in the end? She couldn't accept this. She couldn't accept this. She couldn't accept such an ending. She wouldn't allow them to be together just like that. Even if she had to put her life on the line, she wouldn't allow them to be together. With such thoughts in mind, a cold glint flashed across Liang Mumu's eyes. There were simply too many people gathered at the field. It was already 11 at night, and it was about time for the dormitory rooms to be locked. Yet, more than half of the students were still fooling around in the field. As such, the dormitory management Annie reported this matter to the school leaders, and the head of the academic affairs office led security guards over with a loudspeaker to disperse the students in the field. Seeing that the head had arrived, the students didn't dare to stay any longer and quickly dispersed. However, the head of the academic affairs office didn't intend to leave empty-handed. Instead, he pointed to the culprit who had caused this mess, Lin Jiej, and had him follow him to his office. Hugging a huge bouquet of roses, Shi Yao quickly made a request. "Teacher, can you bring me along as well?" Even if Lin Jiej were to be punished, he wanted to be punished together with her. Could they be considered a pair of bitter lovebirds? However, the head of the academic affairs office didn't intend to grant this pair of bitter lovebirds their wish. "What are you doing here? You should return to your dormitory room and rest." Shi Yao shook her head as she looked at the department head pleadingly. She held onto Lin Jiej's hand tightly, unwilling to let go no matter what. Lin Jiej and Shi Yao had always performed outstandingly in the academy, so the leader recognized them. Besides, there were no rules in the academy that forbade students from dating, so the leader didn't intend to make things difficult for them. However, seeing that Shi Yao was insistent on this matter, he waved his hand dismissively and said, "Forget it. You can follow me, but wait for him outside the office." "All right. Thank you, Leader Lin." With a bouquet in one hand and Lin Jiej's hand in the other, Shi Yao walked toward the office building. Along the way, Shi Yao would occasionally raise her head and smile at Lin Jiej. At first, the leader and the students were shouting at them, so he didn't feel that there was a problem. But in the end, there was no one else on the road except for the three of them. The leader looked at the two of them who didn't care about him at all and suddenly felt that he was an extra. When they arrived at the office building, Shi Yao obediently stopped in front of it and said, "I'll wait for you here." Lin Jiej stroked Shi Yao's head as he replied with a doting mm. The leader standing on the side couldn't help but clear his throat when he saw this scene. Chapter 8:14. It was already early winter, so the temperature was still rather cold at night. Lin Jiej glanced at the thin clothes Shi Yao was wearing, and after a moment's thought, he took off his coat and draped it over Shi Yao's shoulders. The head of the Education Bureau couldn't bear to look at the sight, so he quickly turned his head away and said, "Lin Jiej, hurry up," before entering the office building. After draping the coat over Shi Yao's shoulders, Lin Jiej took the opportunity to pat her cheeks lightly before entering the office building as well. After Lin Jiej entered, Shi Yao placed the huge bouquet of roses on the balcony in the garden, and while sipping on her drink, she began counting the flowers with her head lowered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 47, 48, Shi Yao. Hearing someone calling out to her, Shi Yao instinctively turned her head over, and when she saw who it was, the smile on her face disappeared, and she straightened her back. Senior Han. Han Jing stared at Shi Yao for a moment before lifting his leg and taking a few more steps toward her. Under the light from the office building, Shi Yao felt that there was something strange about Han Jing's expression, but she couldn't pinpoint what it was. When Han Jing stopped roughly a meter away from her, Shi Yao finally spoke up once more. "Senior Han, did you call for me?" Han Jing wasn't in a hurry to reply to Shi Yao's question. Instead, he glanced at the beautiful roses by the side before asking a question that he already knew the answer to. "Are you together with Lin Jiej?" Shi Yao, who had openly rejected Han Jing back then, didn't try to hide anything from him anymore. She told him honestly, "We're together now." Han Jing didn't say anything. Shi Yao didn't know what to say either. The silence between the two of them made Shi Yao feel a little uncomfortable. She subconsciously found an excuse to leave. "Senior Han, I need to use the washroom, so I'll be leaving first." As she spoke, Shi Yao bent down to pick up the bouquet of roses and prepared to head back into the office building. But barely after she took a few steps, Han Jing suddenly called out to her. "Shi Yao." Shi Yao halted her footsteps. This time, before she could say anything, Han Jing continued, "You've always been on good terms with me. I want to ask you, back then, did you like me a little?" Shi Yao frowned. Why would Senior Han ask such a question? Did I do something wrong to give him such a misconception? Han Jing stared at Shi Yao for a moment before asking, "If not for Lin Jiej, would you still be with me?" "Senior Han, I think you might have misunderstood something. In the beginning, I only treated you as a friend because you're from Tian's hometown, but after I learned of your feelings for me, I decided to sever all ties with you. It's not because you're a bad person, but because I can't give you what you want. If I've done anything that has caused you to misunderstand me, I'll apologize to you right now. As for what happened between us, it really has nothing to do with Lin Jiej. Without him, I wouldn't have gotten together with you. Do you really think so?" Chapter 8:15. Han Jing didn't say anything else. Shi Yao couldn't help but feel that Han Jing was getting weirder and weirder. But soon, Han Jing nodded and turned around to leave without saying a word. Looking at Han Jing's departing figure, Shi Yao couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. However, it didn't take long for that uneasy feeling to linger in her heart. Suddenly, someone hugged her from behind, and she fell into a familiar embrace. Knowing that it was Lin Jiej, Shi Yao didn't avoid him. Instead, she raised her head to look at him. Lin Jiej was taller than her in the first place, and he was standing a step behind her. As such, he was much taller than her. Lowering his head, he easily kissed her on the lips. Note: for the sake of speaking out of turn, a guy kissing a girl who raises her head from behind is a beautiful sight. You guys can imagine it yourselves. However, they were still in front of the office building, so Lin Jiej didn't dare to go too far. He quickly let go of Shi Yao, and took a step down to grab her hand. As they walked toward the dormitory building, he asked, "Why were you in a daze when I came out earlier?" Lin Jie's words reminded Shi Yao of Han Jing once more. However, she felt that she was overthinking things. To her, Han Jing had always been a decent senior. She couldn't just accuse him without any reason. So, Shi Yao shook her head and said, "It's nothing much." However, lying was the one thing that Shi Yao wasn't good at, so she couldn't help but feel a little guilty. After replying to Lin Jie, she turned around and asked, "Right, you didn't meet any clients today, right?" Lin Jie replied with an mim. "Were you the ones who spread the news about the students running toward the field?" Lin Jie replied with another mm. However, he didn't dare let Shi Yao know that his motive was to destroy Ji University's peach blossoms. "In other words, you were intentionally hiding it from me." Shi Yao's voice was filled with indignation. "Isn't that to give you a surprise? Is there a surprise to speak of?" "Oh, you're right. Do you like the surprise then?" "I do, but I'm a little sad too. I didn't get to eat the roast meat." Lin Jie, it's getting late, and you still have lessons tomorrow morning, so you should return to your dormitory room to rest. I'll bring you out for a meal another day, all right?" "All right then." A smile crept up Shi Yao's face. A moment later, a thought suddenly struck her mind, and she exclaimed, "We're doomed." Lin Jie immediately tensed up. "What's wrong?" "I bought 2 bottles, and one of them was for you. Back then, when I was looking at you drawing, I got too distracted, so I finished my bottle and finished yours." "Well, I bought 2 bottles, and one of them was for you. Back then, when I was watching you drawing, I got too distracted, so I finished my bottle and yours too." Lin Jie, what could he do? Chapter 8:16. Make it public? Isn't what we're doing considered public? His actions tonight won't just be known by everyone in Master Ji. Even the people in the neighboring schools will know about it, right? Shi Yao frowned. "Isn't this already big enough?" "I don't mean for the entire world to know about it. Let's just post it on our Moments page." Lin Jie paused for a moment before adding confidently, "Yao, you should know that I'm still unable to return to my home." Lin Jie's words reminded Shi Yao of how he'd fabricated such a melodramatic story in order to set her free back then, resulting in him being chased out of the family by Grandpa Lin. Since her boyfriend was in trouble, she couldn't just stand by idly. So, Shi Yao took out her phone and said, "All right then, let's post it on our Moments page. I've added Sis Jiayi's WeChat, so if she sees it, it'll mean that Grandpa has seen it too. After that, you'll be able to return home." After tapping into WeChat and entering her Moments page, Shi Yao looked at Lin Jie worriedly and asked, "How are we going to do it?" Lin Jie pondered for a moment before replying with, "Wait a moment," before heading into the school forum. Just as he had guessed, the forum was already flooded with the scene of him confessing to Shi Yao. He casually tapped into a few threads and scanned through them. Eventually, he found the clearest and prettiest photo of him and Shi Yao and saved it. He entered his Moments page and uploaded the photo. After a moment of contemplation, he typed, "I like Kings of Glory and PUBG, but I like you in all forms more." After which, he sent it over. After sending it over, he sent the photo over to Shi Yao. Following Lin Jie's instructions, Shi Yao uploaded the photo to her Moments page as well. After which, she bit on her finger and pondered for a moment before typing, "A young lady's love is always eating with Lin Jie," and sending it over. That night, Lin Jie returned to his bed after his bath. He picked up his phone and entered his Moments page, only to realize that Shi Yao's Moments page was much livelier than his own. Expert of the Monkeys liked and replied, "Little Junior, you're calling the wrong person. It should be Jorgelin." Juice liked and replied, "Who is Lin Jie? If I don't know him, it means I only know Jorgelin." I love Li Yifeng liked the post and replied, "My Adonis is Lin Jie, but Yao Yao's boyfriend is Gajia Lin." Lotus Leaves He Tion liked and replied, Yao, can you tell me why Senior Lin changed his name to Gajia Lin?" Lemon liked and replied, "Congratulations." Juice replied to Lemon, "Goddess," followed by a perverted emoticon. Lin Jie scrolled through Shi Yao's Moments like page several times, but he wasn't able to find Lin Jie's figure at all. So, he turned to his own Moments page. Other than the likes and replies from his classmates and business partners, Lin Jiej had to double-check several times. But he didn't see any likes or replies from his family. That shouldn't be the case. Going by the script, his moments in WeChat should be exploding with activity. After all, the girl in the photo is the soft bun that he likes. Chapter 8:17. His father, Lin Gubei, was the first to reply. Eat, sleep, beat son, I'm sorry, but your mom forbade me from giving you a like. Do you have to be such a henpecked husband? You're not a man at all. Lin Jiej lampooned as he replied, Dad, it's fine if you don't give me a like, but you should at least take a look, right? Eat, sleep, beat son, I'm sorry, but your mom forbade me from giving you a look. Less than 111,111, 111111. Can't you just keep it a secret from my mom? Eat, sleep, beat son, that's fine. Lin Jiej swiftly typed on the keyboard and typed a line of words. Hurry up and take a look then. However, before he could send it out, a new message popped up on his screen. Eat, sleep, beat son, but if your mom finds out about it, I'll die a horrible death. So, I think it's best if I don't take a look, forget it. Just look at my father's name. Eat, sleep, beat son. It's obvious that I can't rely on him. Lin Jiej didn't reply to Lin Gubei's message and went straight to Uncle Xia Yang's message. Shui Yang, what's a moment's page? Lin Jiej, left with no choice, he could only give up and check out Lin Gunnan's message. 20 kilograms slimmer, I liked it. Lin Jiej took a look at his moment's page, and sure enough, his aunt had given him a like. But wasn't his aunt's reaction a little too calm? Or was she too agitated? Lin Jiej asked tentatively, Aunt, what do you think of my WeChat moments? 20 kilograms slimmer, my internet speed is too slow. I can't open your photo. Lin Jiej could only place his hopes on Jiang Wangue and Lin Jiai. However, the two ladies still hadn't replied to his WeChat message yet. Lin Jiej pondered for a moment and decided to take the initiative once more. He sent a message to Jiang Wangue. Mom. This time, Jiang Wangue replied, I don't have a son like you. It was fortunate that he had managed to woo Softbun. If he hadn't, he wouldn't have been able to clear up that story. Lin Jiej felt that it was best not to beat around the bush with his mother, so he typed out a message. Mom, I'm with Shiyao now. There's proof on my moments page. Can you take a look? Lin Jiej tapped on the Send button, and a WeChat notification popped up. I'm sorry, the other party isn't your friend. Please add him as your friend first before chatting. Of the 7 people in the family, Lin Jiej, who was already despised by 4 of them, doubted his life for less than 10 seconds before he rushed off to look for Lin Jiai. It wouldn't be easy to deal with the others, but in any case, Lin Jiai was a piece of cake. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej began sending out red packets. No one accepted the first red envelope. Lin Jiej continued sending. He received the second red packet, and so did the first one, but Lin Jiai simply ignored him. Lin Jiej continued sending. After Lin Jiai accepted 10 red packets from him in one go, she replied, I can't see your moments page. How's that possible? His moments are visible to everyone. Just as this thought flashed across Lin Jiej's mind, he suddenly remembered that he had blocked Lin Jiai from his moments page out of fear that she would ruin his plans. Lin Jiai, I just checked your WeChat on the GPS, and I can see your moments page. Did you block me? Chapter 8:18. Lin Jiai was his final straw of hope. Even if he had offended her, he had no choice but to kneel down and beg for her back. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej continued sending red packets. 1, 2, 3, 10. It seemed like Lin Jiai was really angry this time around. To think that she would be able to resist the temptation of money. However, he didn't believe that she would be able to resist the temptation of even more money. So, Lin Jiej decided to transfer the money directly. Each transaction was worth 20,000 renminbi. Here are 100 red packets. Another 100 red packets. Another 100 red packets. After Lin Jiej transferred the money 10 times, Lin Jiai finally started collecting the money. When all of the money was in Lin Jiai's pocket, a message finally appeared on the screen. That was the price of my forgiveness. As for the price of asking for my help, you'll have to pay it again. Lin Jiej transferred a red packet worth 1,000 red packets over and asked, "Is it enough?" Lin Jiai accepted the money and said, "Tell me, what do you need my help with?" Lin Jiej released Lin Jiai from the little black room in his moments and replied, "I just need you to show me the first photo in my moments to Grandpa." A minute later, Lin Jiai, "On account that you managed to get Yao Yao back, give me another 1,000 red packets, and I'll reluctantly agree to help you." Gritting his teeth, Lin Jiej sent another 1,000 red packets over. Lin Jiai sent a deal emoji, and after receiving the money, she sent a thank you boss emoji. Lin Jiej ignored Lin Jiai. After putting down his phone, he carefully recalled the family's attitude toward him tonight. Then, he picked up his phone again and sent a message to Shi Yao. "Yao Yao, I realize that the person who treats me the best in this world is you." Shi Yao replied swiftly with a blushing emoji. Then, she sent another message. "Remember to reserve a spot for tomorrow's roast meat." He sent her such a sentimental and emotional message. Shouldn't she be concerned about him? Why is she worried about my roast meat instead? Lin Jiej rubbed his chest in distress. He wanted to be alone, and he didn't want to bother with anyone for the time being. Ding dong. His phone rang. "Sure, Yao. How about 6:30 p.m.? I'm too early, so I might not have the time." Lin Jiej instantly replied, "Sure. I'll make a reservation as soon as the rotisserie opens tomorrow." The next day, Lin Jiej wasn't woken up by his alarm but by Shi Yao's phone call. After he answered the call, he called out Yao Yao. Then he sat up and leaned against the headboard before asking, "What's wrong?" "Lin Jiej, there's something I need to tell you. Grandpa Lin is here to look for me." "Grandpa Lin? Grandpa Lin?" Recalling what he had asked Lin Jiai to do for him last night, Lin Jiej immediately snapped out of his daze and asked, "What did Grandpa talk to you about?" Shi Yao seemed to be organizing her words. After a moment of silence, she said, "It's like this. Before I could even wake up this morning, I received a call from Grandpa Lin. He said that he's already on his way to school to look for me, and he asked if I had the time to have breakfast with him. I definitely said yes. Then, after booking the location, I hung up the phone, hurriedly washed my face and brushed my teeth before going to look for Grandpa Lin. As soon as Grandpa Lin saw me, he asked me." Chapter 8:19. Lin Jiej couldn't help but ask, "What did Grandpa ask you?" He asked me. On the other end of the phone, Shi Yao stuttered for a long while before she finally replied with a soft voice. "He asked me if there's anything between us." Lin Jiej was taken aback for a moment. He first replied with a doubtful before replying with an "oh." In contrast to Shi Yao's embarrassment, Lin Jiej was much calmer. "How did you reply to Grandpa?" "I told him honestly that there's nothing between us." After hearing those words, Grandpa Lin was overjoyed. He heaved a long sigh of relief and told me that it's good that there's nothing between us. After that, Grandpa Lin sternly told me not to get together with you. Of course, I wouldn't listen to Grandpa Lin's words. I asked him why, but Grandpa Lin refused to tell me. So, I told him that I only wanted to be together with you. After that, Grandpa Lin started scolding you. He said that you were a bastard and that I should marry anyone but you. Lin Jiej didn't want to say anything else. It was obvious who was the biological son of Lin Jiej. Shi Yao was probably the Lin family's little princess, and he was probably picked up from the streets. Of course I wouldn't listen to Grandpa Lin's words, but Grandpa Lin has always doted on me. So I thought that as long as I acted coquettishly, Grandpa Lin would surely give in to me. However, the more I acted coquettishly, the sadder Grandpa Lin got. In the end, Grandpa Lin told me that I would be wronged if I were to be together with you, and that I would have to raise someone else's son. I was still a little perplexed as to why Grandpa Lin would say such a thing, so I asked him about it. It was only then that I realized that Grandpa Lin was referring to the story you made up back then, so I helped you clarify it. At this point, Shi Yao's tone suddenly became relaxed and gleeful. "I told Grandpa Lin that you were lying to him. That night, you were with me, and there wasn't any pregnant woman at all. The reason you did that was to free me." Hearing those words, a chill ran down Lin Jiej's spine. His initial plan was to let his grandfather know that he was together with Softbun. Once his grandfather, who had blocked his number, came to look for him, He would be able to tell his grandfather that he had figured out the truth and that it was all a misunderstanding that night. He didn't have sex with that woman at all, and it was the woman who had lied to him in hopes of becoming a phoenix. But now, everything was over. Softbun had spilled the beans. Grandfather should be even more furious now, right? On the other end of the call, Shiryao waited for a moment, but before Lin Jiej's voice could be heard, she spoke up once more. Lin Jiej, aren't I the best? I helped you clear your name in front of Grandpa Lin. Suppressing the pain in his heart, Lin Jiej replied, You're the best. You're the best. Hee. Shiryao burst into laughter on the other end of the call. Hearing her laughter, Lin Jiej felt like crying. Well, I'm about to go to class. I can't talk to you anymore. After saying those words, Shiryao hung up the call, probably because she was in a hurry. A moment later, Lin Jiej received a message from Shiryao. Right, I forgot to tell you. Before Grandpa Lin left, he said that he wanted to pay you a visit. Lin Jiej's heart skipped a beat. In the next second, he leaped out of his bed, intending to run away. Chapter 820. Lin Jiej's heart skipped a beat. In the next second, he leaped out of his bed and prepared to run away. However, as soon as he got dressed and walked to the door, he heard someone banging on the door. It can't be that my grandfather is here already, right? Just as this thought flashed across Lin Jiej's mind, through the door, he heard his grandfather's booming voice echoing from the corridor. Brat, open the door. Lin Jiej's body trembled, and the shoes he had just taken out from the shoe cabinet fell to the floor with a loud paw. Open the door, brat. Open the door. It's impossible to open the door. Perhaps I should just play dead and create the illusion that I'm not at home at all. At most, I'll just have my grandfather bellow angrily outside the door for a while. In any case, I'll have to leave sooner or later. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej straightened his body and prepared to return to his bedroom to put on his noise-canceling earphones and continue sleeping. Brat, stop playing dead in there. I know you're in there. Before I went upstairs, I went to your security department to check the security footage, and I know that you haven't left since you came in last night. Lin Jiej's leisurely walk nearly caused him to kneel on the floor. Holy shit. What else could he say? Is that even possible? My grandfather sure came prepared. All he could say was that the older the ginger, the wiser the ginger. Brat, I'll count to 3. If you don't come out by then, I'll have to resort to some unconventional means. Lin Jiej rubbed his trembling eardrums as he rushed to the window. Opening the window, he looked down to the 21st floor. Even before jumping down, he was already feeling a little dizzy. This wasn't the Lin family old residence. Jumping down from the 2nd floor wouldn't be a problem, but if he were to jump down from the 20th floor, Softbun would probably become a widow. 1, 2, 3. Grandpa Lin had already counted to 3, but seeing that the door wasn't opening, he began pounding on it once more. Brat, don't you dare challenge my limits. I'll count to 3. If you still don't open the door, don't blame me for getting nasty. Judging from the old emperor's voice, he seemed to be on the verge of losing his temper. If he were to really infuriate the old man, he wouldn't just be unable to return home, but his name would be erased from the genealogy. However, given the current situation, if he were to open the door, he would definitely be beaten up. He had to think of a way to protect himself. Lin Jiej bit on his finger for a moment before whipping out his phone. At this very moment, the only one who could save him was Softbun. But Softbun was currently in class, so how was he supposed to get her over? He couldn't just send her a "save me" message. That would be too damaging to his identity and dignity. In just 3 short seconds, Lin Jiej had already sent a message to Shiryao. Secretary Zhang, I might not be able to attend the meeting today. I'm suffering from diarrhea, and I'm feeling so weak that I can't even move from my bed right now. I need you to inform the vice president to have him handle some important matters in my place today. After sending the message, Lin Jiej ignored Grandpa Lin's shout of 1, 2, 3 as he stared intently at his phone screen. It was only when the words, "the other party is currently typing," appeared above that Lin Jiej realized that Shiryao had seen his message. Feigning that he had sent the wrong message, he swiftly retracted his message. Chapter 821. Perhaps it was because Lin Jiej was ignoring her, but she soon sent another message over. Linjiej, are you doing well? Did something happen to you? Don't scare me like that. Linjiej? Following which, his phone suddenly received a call. It was from Yao. Of course he wouldn't pick it up. After all, Softbun wouldn't be able to rush over. His phone vibrated for a moment before it finally quieted down. Following which, he received another message from Yao. I'm going to request a leave of absence from my teacher so that I can visit you. You must be well. You must be well. Looking at Yao's final message, Linjiej felt a surge of sweetness in his heart. His Softbun was just that considerate. Brat, you've grown up, haven't you? Fine. Since you refuse to open the door, don't open it then. Grandpa Lin was clearly on the verge of going berserk. Annie-san. Old mister, calm down. Perhaps the young master really isn't at home. If he isn't at home, then where is he? He didn't even go out. Could he have grown wings and flown away through the window? After shouting at Annie-san, Grandpa Lin banged on the door a few more times. That brat, does he really think that I can't do anything to him? Annie-san, give me a call and have someone come over to weld this door shut. If he wants to stay in there, let him stay there for the rest of his life. That won't do, old Mr. Lin. Why not? What do you mean by that? Even I don't think that I can't do anything to my grandson, so why can't you? Annie-san, if you don't give me a call, I'll pry open the door and weld both of you together in there. Old mister, please calm down. I'll make the call right now. I'll make the call right now. Following which, Annie-san's voice sounded from outside the door. Linjiej knew that if his grandfather were to really get angry, he might really weld him to death in this room. Of course, he couldn't weld him for the rest of his life, but it was still possible that he could lock him up for a few days. He wouldn't allow his grandfather to lock him up here, but he didn't open the door right away, either. After all, it would take some time for Softbun to rush over, and it would also take some time for Annie-san to call someone over as well. Thus, he could afford to wait a little longer. Feigning as if he hadn't heard the commotion outside, he returned to his bedroom and lay down for a while. Estimating that Softbun would be arriving in around 10 minutes, he slowly got up and walked to the bathroom. Facing the mirror, he scratched his head and rubbed his eyelids, turning his double eyelids into a triple eyelid. After making sure that he looked as if he had just woken up, he dragged his slippers and headed for the door. He knew who was outside the door, but he pretended not to know and asked, "Who is it?" "Me." "Grandfather, why are you here?" As Linjiej spoke, he took a step back before stretching out his arm to open the door. When Grandpa Lin barged in furiously from the outside, Linjiej, who had already taken a step back, hurriedly took another step back, dodging Grandpa Lin's incoming cane. Fortunately, he had been beaten up many times when he was young, so he gained experience from it. If the crutch really came down, his head would definitely be injured. Chapter 822. Grandpa Lin, who had been knocking on the door for so long, couldn't possibly be bothered with Linjiej at all. Seeing that the latter had dodged his first strike, he mercilessly swung his crutch a second time. Linjiej swiftly dodged it. "Grandfather, what's wrong? Why are you so angry?" Grandpa Lin didn't say a word as he chased after Linjiej with his crutch. Linjiej dodged to the left and right. "Grandfather, you're already so old. Aren't you afraid of spraining your back? Annie-san, why are you still standing there? Hurry up and pour me a cup of water." Auntie-san sighed in response before making her way to the kitchen. "You're not allowed to pour." Grandpa Lin roared furiously. Left with no choice, Annie-san could only stop. "Grandfather, I told Annie-san to pour you a cup of water. Why aren't you getting a cup of water for yourself?" Seeing the crutch flying toward him, Linjiej hurriedly hid behind Annie-san. "Young master, you should just apologize to old mister. Let me tell you, no one will be able to save you. I secretly called sir and madam for you earlier, and madam said that old mister can call you if you want to. It's not like you've ever done so before. Sir said that you're right, madam is right." She immediately hung up on me. I also called young miss and young master Lin, but they said that they're not in Beijing. As for young miss, she said that she's busy earning money and doesn't have the time to bother with you. So, young master, you should quickly think of a way to apologize to old mister. It's not that I don't want to apologize, but I don't know what's wrong with me. I just woke up, and grandfather came to beat me up." While dodging Grandpa Lin Jiej spoke as innocently as he could. "Grandfather, even if you want to punish me, you should at least give me a reason. You can't just barge into my house and beat me up like that." He was stalling for time. As long as he could stall for time, he would be safe. "Fine. Since you want a reason, I'll give you one then." In the end, Grandpa Lin was getting on in years. He was no match for Lin Jiej, so he was already panting heavily after chasing after him for a while. Annie's son hurriedly walked forward and patted Grandpa Lin's back. "Old mister, do you really need to get so angry?" After Grandpa Lin calmed down, he turned to Annie's son and said, "You'll know how infuriating you are when you have a grandson as shameless as him." Then, he pointed his cane at Lin Jiej and bellowed furiously, "Let me ask you. I've been knocking on your door for a long time now, so why didn't you open it for me?" Of course, he had to feign innocence. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiej replied with a dazed look in his eyes, "I was sleeping. I didn't hear anything." Old Mr. Lin laughed coldly. "I'll settle this score with you later. I'll start with the big one. Let me ask you, where's that pregnant little lover of yours?" "This, Grandpa, I was thinking of finding a time to go home and apologize to you." Chapter 8:23. It would have been fine if Grandpa Lin hadn't brought it up, but the moment he did, he couldn't help but recall how he had thought that Lin Jiej had really done something foolish back then. He was angry at him for being a disappointment, but at the same time, he felt terrible for having no choice but to let Yao go. During that period of time, he couldn't eat or sleep well, and he was constantly sighing. Just thinking about how his beloved granddaughter-in-law, whom he was so close to getting his hands on, was gone just like that, his blood pressure rose rapidly. He really liked Yao. He had built up his family from scratch at a young age, and he had seen far too many people. While he didn't dare claim that his eyes were sharp, he was still able to tell who was a good child and who was a bad one. For example, his neighbor, Liang Mumu, had always been a troublemaker. On the other hand, Yao had truly treated him well. In the past, he could still get Yao to visit him, but now that his grandson had caused such a scandal, he couldn't bring himself to face Yao anymore. Just a few days ago, when he was fishing with someone, he heard someone saying the word Yao. When he thought of Yao, his heart ached so much that he almost cried. There were even a couple of times when he missed Yao so much that he even sneaked over to G University to secretly visit Yao. But what happened in the end? It was all that bastard's fault. He didn't have a lover who was about to turn into a phoenix, and he didn't have a big belly either. Even if he had no choice but to do so in order to pursue Yao, he could have just told him. As a grandfather, given how much he liked Yao, he would surely help him. It would have been fine if he hadn't thought about it, but with such a thought in mind, Grandpa Lin didn't even want to give Lin Jiej a reason anymore. All he wanted to do was to raise his walking stick and give him a good beating. With such a thought in mind, Grandpa Lin made his move. He abruptly took a few steps forward before smashing his cane down on Lin Jiej. However, before his walking stick could land on Lin Jiej, a beep suddenly sounded from the door not too far away, following which, the door was pushed open. Lin Jiej, hearing Yao's voice, Lin Jiej knew that he was completely safe. He didn't even bother dodging. Instead, he raised his head and whispered to Grandpa Lin, "Grandfather, Yao is here." Old Master Lin's acupoints seemed to have been sealed. His crutch was raised in midair, motionless. Lin Jiej. Worried about Lin Jiej, Yao changed into her slippers and ran into the room. However, upon seeing Grandpa Lin Jiej and Auntie's son, she suddenly halted her footsteps and exclaimed, "Grandpa Lin, Auntie's son, you are here too." After greeting Grandpa Lin, Yao turned her gaze to the walking stick in Grandpa Lin's hand and asked, "Grandpa Lin, what are you doing?" After hearing Yao's words, the furious old Mr. Lin took in a deep breath before putting on a radiant smile. As he spoke, old Master Lin raised his walking stick and twirled it in a circle as though he were slicing a large watermelon. "I'm practicing Tai Chi. I was too tired from the ride earlier, and my waist hurts." "Oh, I see." Yao took 2 steps forward without any hesitation. Grandpa, you should take a seat first. I'll massage your waist for you. You're already old, so it's not convenient for you to do this. Chapter 8:24. After listening to his grandfather's words, Lin Jiej watched as Shi Yao walked past him, walked up to his grandfather, and really sat down to chat with him. Oh? Isn't Soft Bun here to visit me? Why isn't she concerned about me at all? Lin Jiej took a step forward, allowing himself to appear in Shi Yao's field of vision. A minute passed. 2 minutes passed. 3 minutes passed. But Shi Yao still wasn't paying any attention to him. Lin Jiej's eyes darted around, and in the next second, he clutched his stomach and groaned. Grandpa Lin and Shi Yao immediately turned their heads over. Grandpa Lin was still his grandson, so he couldn't help but feel a little worried upon seeing Lin Jiej in such a state. What's wrong? Shi Yao quickly recovered from her daze and replied, Oh, I forgot. Lin Jiej sent me a WeChat message this morning, saying that he has a stomachache and can't go to the company. However, he probably sent the wrong message to Secretary Zhang. I sent him a message, but he ignored me. I was worried about him, so I came over to visit him. With Grandpa Lin's intelligence, Shi Yao's simple explanation immediately told him that Lin Jiej was the culprit behind all of this. He had tricked Yao Yao into coming over to help him. Grandpa Lin's worried gaze turned into cold killing intent. Oblivious to the fact that there was nothing wrong with what she had just said, Shi Yao took out the medicine in her bag and ran over to Lin Jiej's side. Lin Jiej, how are you feeling? Are you still feeling unwell? Do you need me to accompany you to the hospital? Lin Jiej avoided his grandfather's gaze and looked at Shi Yao, who had caused him so much trouble. He tried his best to squeeze out a gentle smile and said, I'm fine. I'm feeling much better now. His smile was so forced that Shi Yao thought that he was feeling unwell. Worried for him, she said, I don't think you're feeling too well. Let's go to the hospital. There's really no need for that. Lin Jiej paused for a moment before adding on. I'm just feeling a little weak, so I want to sleep. I'll help you to your bedroom then. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao turned to Grandpa Lin and said, Grandpa Lin, Jiej is already in such a state, so he won't be able to accompany you today. Why don't you and Auntie Sun return first? I'll bring him back to visit you another day. Of course, Grandpa Lin knew that Lin Jiej was intentionally saying that he was going to sleep so that Shi Yao could persuade him to return first. However, he couldn't bring himself to vent his anger in front of Shi Yao, so he could only smile and say, Sure, Yao Yao, take care of him. I'll be heading back first. Shi Yao helped Lin Jiej to his bedroom before sending Grandpa Lin off. After bidding farewell to Shi Yao with a smile, Grandpa Lin stepped into the elevator, and his face immediately turned so cold that it seemed as if it would drip water at any moment. No, I can't allow that brat to toy with me like that. I can't possibly stand idly by. Old mister, don't you like Miss Shi the most? You should be happy that Miss Shi is back. I'm very happy, but I can't spare him either. At this point, Old Master Lin's eyes suddenly lit up. I know how to deal with him now. How do you treat it? Auntie Sun asked curiously. Use needles to treat it. Sir, that won't do. You're not Nanny Rome. What are you thinking? Who wants to prick him with needles? I want to prick a condom with needles. Auntie Sun was at a loss for words. On the other hand, Grandpa Lin felt that his idea couldn't be any better. This way, Yao Yao will be pregnant, and he won't be able to do anything bad for the next 10 months. At the same time, I'll have a great-grandson to carry. This is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Chapter 8:25. Everyone in the Lin family had a high IQ. If she had to say who was the smartest, she really couldn't say. However, Old Master Lin definitely had the most tricks up his sleeves. He even said that young Master was a heavenly pit, so he must have inherited it from him, right? Of course, Auntie Sun only dared to think about it. Old Mr. Lin was still immersed in his own scheme. If Yao Yao is going to get pregnant, I'll have to bring her to the old manor. Auntie Sun, you've taken care of a few babies before, so you should have some experience. I'll have to trouble you then. Old Mister is a little too impatient. Auntie Sun thought to herself, but she replied, Old Mister, there's no problem. With you taking care of her, I can rest assured. I'm going to clean up the room on the 2nd floor and use it as a nursery. This has to be done as soon as possible. No matter how good the materials are, it's inevitable that there will be formaldehyde. Annie-san, can you call a renovation company in the afternoon and ask them to come to our house? Annie-san, yes? Since she's pregnant, we definitely have to give Yao Yao a proper status. The wedding has to go on. Oh, it has to be better than before. Also, the naming of the child has to go on. Annie-san, go home and find that Xinhua dictionary that I asked you to hide for me. Also, we have to contact the maternity hospital and find the best doctor. Annie-san couldn't take it anymore. Old sir, it's a little too early for you to be thinking about these things. Why is it so early? How is it too early? Old Mr. Lin was unhappy. Annie-san, think about it. You haven't even carried out your plan yet, and you're already acting as though Miss Sure is pregnant. Isn't that a little too early for you? That did seem to be the case, but Grandpa Lin was still displeased, and Auntie's son poured a bucket of cold water over him. What Miss Sure? She's the little madam. That's right, little madam. Auntie's son understood Grandpa Lin well, and she knew that he had already returned to reality from his imagination. Thus, she played along with his words for a moment before tossing him another difficult question. Besides, Grandpa Lin, little Sure. No, little madam is only in her second year of university, and she's still quite young. Isn't it inappropriate for you to get her pregnant now? It's not good for your health. Yes. Grandpa Lin might not have minded mentioning anyone else, but he couldn't bear to bring up Sure Yao. When old Master Lin saw that his great-grandson was about to be sent flying, he immediately became listless like a frosted eggplant. I was too rash. But just 3 seconds later, Grandpa Lin's eyes suddenly lit up. You're right, but you're not entirely right either. It's inconvenient for Yao Yao to get pregnant at the moment, but she can after she graduates from university. There's no way that Lin Jiej will want to have a child before he reaches 30, so as long as I don't give him what he wants, he'll die of heartache. I've been waiting for my great-grandson ever since he was born, and I've been waiting for him for more than 20 years now. I don't mind waiting another 2 more years. It's decided then. In 2 years, I'll give Lin Jiej a bomb. Bomb. That's not a bad name. Why don't I give my great-grandson this nickname? Auntie's son couldn't bear to look at old Mr. Lin, who was laughing so hard that his teeth were about to fall off. Old Mr. Lin was a man of his word. It looked like the young master wouldn't be able to escape the fate of becoming a father very soon. Mid-Autumn Festival Theater, Ifei. It's the Mid-Autumn Festival today. What kind of mooncakes would you like to eat? Sure Yao counted with her fingers earnestly. Osmanthus, dried plums, 5 nuts, red bean paste, rose, lotus paste, rock sugar, white fruit, meat floss, black sesame, ham, egg yolk. Can I have 2 of each? Oh no. 3? Lin Jiej, Sure Yao. Yifei, that's too much. I'm not giving you any. Yifei, dear readers, what kind of cake would you like to eat? Non-student readers, dog food filling. Chapter 826. After sending off Grandpa Lin and Annie's son, Sure Yao headed to the dining room to get herself a cup of warm water before returning to Lin Jiej's bedroom. She walked over to the bedside and placed the cup down. Facing Lin Jiej, she asked softly, "How are you feeling right now? Why did you suddenly have diarrhea? Did you vomit?" As she spoke, Sure Yao pulled the blanket over Lin Jiej. Lin Jiej enjoyed Sure Yao's concern for him, but he knew that he had to go through with his act. Even if he wanted to recover, he couldn't do it right away. So, he pretended to be in slight discomfort and lay on the bed, clutching his stomach as he shook his head at Sure Yao, as if he didn't even have the strength to speak. Sure Yao raised her hand and touched Lin Jiej's forehead. You don't have a fever either. It's fortunate that it's not food poisoning. As she spoke, Sure Yao turned around to grab a cup of warm water and passed it over to Lin Jiej. Lin Jiej thanked Sure Yao and was just about to compliment her when, but before he could even form his words, Sure Yao took out a medicine box, tore open the packaging, and counted out a few pills before passing it over to him. Eat these pills and sleep for a while. You'll be fine after that. Eat? Medicine? Lin Jiej stared at the pills in Sure Yao's hands and subconsciously shook his head. Only a fool would take medicine if he wasn't sick. Besides, He wasn't a fool. Oblivious to Lin Jie's intentions, Shi Yao simply thought that he didn't need to eat medicine because the problem wasn't serious enough. No, you still have to eat medicine. How can you get better if you don't? Hurry up and open your mouth. Lin Jie clamped his mouth even tighter. Shi Yao frowned. It was then that she realized that it wasn't that Lin Jie didn't need to eat medicine because the problem wasn't serious enough, but that he didn't need to eat medicine. Thus, she began coaxing him with a gentle voice. Lin Jie, it's not right to hide your illness for fear of treatment. You're not a child anymore, so you can't be so willful. I'll feed you. Ah, open your mouth. Lin Jie still didn't open his mouth. Shi Yao's frown deepened. If not for today, she wouldn't have known that it would be so troublesome to get him to eat medicine. The last time he fell ill, he was unconscious, and she was the one who forced the medicine down his throat. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao said, Lin Jie, if you still refuse to eat your medicine, I'll have to resort to other methods. Yao Yao, I am fine. He had used everything that was reasonable, soft, and hard, but the other party still refused to take the medicine. In that case, he could only resort to something unreasonable. Without waiting for Lin Jie to finish his words, she raised her hand and stuffed the pill into her mouth, after which she used her other hand to grab onto Lin Jie's lower jaw. Lowering her head, she pressed her lips against his, pried open his mouth with her tongue, and pushed the pill into his mouth, after which she snatched away the cup of water in his hand and poured a mouthful into her own mouth, after which she pressed her lips against his once more and fed the water bit by bit into his mouth. Finally, she raised the hand that was holding onto Lin Jie's chin upward, causing the pill to flow along with the water in his mouth into his stomach. Shi Yao's series of movements were executed in a single breath, not giving Lin Jie any chance to react at all. After she was done feeding Lin Jie the medicine, she placed the cup of water on the coffee table by the side and gazed down at the dumbfounded Lin Jie. She said, You're asking for it. Chapter 827. Lin Jie blinked his eyes again and again, refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit? If this is how you drink a forfeit, I'd rather drink it every day. Seeing that Lin Jie was blinking his eyes non-stop, Shi Yao frowned and said, If you're not feeling well, you should sleep a little longer. Lin Jie, who was still immersed in the earlier scene, didn't react at all. Why is Lin Jie so disobedient after falling ill? Shi Yao frowned once more before raising her hand impatiently and closing Lin Jie's eyes. Lin Jie's eyelids twitched, but he was warned off by Shi Yao. Thus, he closed his eyes once more. Could it be that he was a masochist? Why was he not the least bit unhappy after Shi Yao fed him a forfeit and warned him? On the contrary, he was so happy that he felt as if he was floating in the air. He decided to follow Soft Bun's instructions and rest first. When he woke up, he was going to tell those two single dogs in room 501 that he had eaten the most delicious alcohol in the world today. Shi Yao's forfeit. Sigh. It wasn't too long ago that she said that only a healthy fool would take medicine, but not too long later, he ended up taking medicine when he wasn't sick. Didn't that make him a fool? Forget it. Even if he's a fool, he's still a fool who was fed a forfeit by Shi Yao. Lin Jie was woken up by Shi Yao's call. He hadn't had enough sleep yet, so after closing his eyes and lying down for a while, he really did feel sleepy, so he went back to sleep. Shi Yao was woken up by Grandpa Lin early in the morning, and she hadn't had enough sleep in the first place. By the time Lin Jie fell asleep, she seemed to have been infected by him, and she became extremely sleepy as well. She was leaning against the sofa and playing with her phone, but eventually, she couldn't hold back her drowsiness any longer, so she hugged a pillow and fell into a deep sleep. However, Shi Yao didn't feel comfortable sleeping for too long, so it didn't take long for her to wake up. Lin Jie was still sleeping, so she didn't disturb him. She rotated her neck, which was aching from the uncomfortable position, before taking out her phone to check the time. She had slept for quite a long time, and before she knew it, it was already noon. Shi Yao first ordered some takeout on her phone before getting up and leaving Lin Jie's bedroom. Shi Yao intended to head to the restaurant to get some water, but before she could reach the restaurant, she received a call from He Dong. Afraid that her voice would wake Lin Jie up, Shi Yao retreated to the bedroom and closed the door behind her. After which, She ran to the floor-to-ceiling window a distance away from the bedroom and answered the call. What's wrong, Tian? There was silence on the other side of the phone. Shi Yao was stunned for a second. She had a feeling that something might have happened, so she spoke up once more. This time, her tone wasn't as relaxed as before. What's wrong? That? Tian finally spoke up. Zhang Yu and I are here to plead guilty on your behalf. Right after Tian finished speaking, Zhang Yu's voice sounded from the other end of the phone. Yao, I'm sorry. I've already discussed it with Tian, and we've decided that I'll be taking care of your potato chips and yogurt for you for the next month. To offer potato chips and yogurt as an apology. Shi Yao didn't even bother asking what was going on. She simply replied happily, all right, I accept your apology. After which, she asked once more, all right, can you tell me what happened now? It's like this. Hearing that Shi Yao had forgiven her, Tian finally got to the point. Chapter 828. It's like this. Hearing that Shi Yao had forgiven her, Tian finally got to the point. Didn't you apply for leave for Goddess's class this morning? In any case, you should know that it's normal for me to be absent-minded in class. Goddess was the teacher of their class, and her real name was Fengjing. In the beginning, everyone in the class would secretly call her Liang, but eventually, it became Goddess. I didn't get enough sleep last night because I was watching videos, so I took a short nap in the morning. When I woke up, out of boredom, I secretly looked at my phone. After that, I went to the school forum, and I saw a thread about you. At this point, Tian paused for a moment, and the next one to speak up was Zhang Yu. That thread was posted last night. When Tian and I were looking at it during class, it was already the hottest thread. The thread was about your account in PlayerUnknown's Battleground, and there were also some videos of you participating in the tournament recently. However, the content of the main thread was really despicable. All of a sudden, Tian angrily interjected, it's not just detestable, it's detestable to the extreme. Yao, do you know that the person who posted the thread said that you hugged the thigh of the second-place god of the gaming server in order to participate in the tournament and earn some prize money? He even took a screenshot of you and the second-place god as a couple, saying that you're having an affair with him. In any case, it's just the sort of thing that you can't bear to look at. Furthermore, their analysis seemed to be very logical. So many of the students of G University believed it and started spreading rumors that you've been cuckolding Lin Jiej. At this point, Shi Yao couldn't help but feel a little awkward. This scene seemed a little familiar. At the start of the semester, when she was staying at Lin Jiej's place, someone had taken a photo of her, and the rumor that she was being kept by a middle-aged man was also spreading like wildfire. And they even said that she was cuckolding Lin Jiej. Just what was wrong with society these days? As for the topic of attacking women, it was always the same. If a woman was good at her job, she would sleep with her boss. If a woman was well-dressed, she would be said to be a kept woman. If a woman was beautiful, she must have had plastic surgery. In short, no matter how good a woman was, as long as her private life was used to attack her, she would be trampled on until she was worthless. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao couldn't help but console Tian and Zhang Yu on the other end of the phone. Don't be angry anymore. They're right. There's indeed something going on between me and the second-place god on the leaderboard. Yao, look at the situation now. You still have the mood to joke around. Listen to us first. This is only about the first few matches you participated in. In the later matches, the statistics are still okay. They said that in such a short period of time, it's impossible for you to have such a breakthrough. They also said that the girls playing this game are all noobs. They said that in order to get the prize money, you paid people to play for you in the later matches. This seems a little too much. It was true that she wasn't very skilled at the start, and she had only been able to climb up the leaderboard by lying down. But later on, in order to not implicate Lin Jiej and the others, she spent a lot of effort in private to make up for it. Shi Yao pursed her lips, not saying a word. Tian, Yao, we're not done yet. Zhang Yu. Yes, Yao. The poster said that if you can really kill 10 people, he will broadcast himself eating *T in front of the whole school. Then, I was provoked by him and said that if you can't kill 10 people, You will broadcast yourself eating H*T. Sure, Yao. Let me tell you, I won't be able to kill 10 people. Whoever dares to say that will live stream himself eating shit. He Tian, Yao Yao, it's too late. Zhang Yu and I have already used your name to issue a challenge on the forums. It's too late even if Zhang Yu and I want to eat *T in your place. Chapter 830. Ignoring Zhang Yu and He Tian, Shi Yao hung up the call right away. In truth, she knew very well that Zhang Yu and He Tian had always treated her well. It was probably because those people on the forum had gone overboard with their words that they couldn't hold themselves back and started a fight with them. In this world, everyone had many friends, but there were very few people who would stand up for you when you were being slandered. It was just like how a celebrity would be blessed by countless people on their birthday, but if something were to happen to them, who would remember them? Thus, even though Shi Yao knew that He Tian and Zhang Yu had acted too rashly this time, she knew that they were doing it out of sincerity. Naturally, she wouldn't get angry at them. Thus, after hanging up the call, Shi Yao still sent a message in the WeChat group. 3 months worth of potato chips and yogurt. Not a single day less. Zhang Yu and He Tian didn't reply. The one who replied was Lung Wan. She sent a picture of Zhang Yu and He Tian facing the wall, one holding a water bottle and the other holding a basin. Looking at the picture, Shi Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter. After chatting with Lung Wan, Shi Yao couldn't help but head to the school forum to check out the details. The ID of the poster was Hatred Born Out of Love. The content of the post was similar to what Zhang Yu and He Tian had described. They uploaded some videos of Shi Yao's matches onto the forum, along with her match statistics and screenshots of her and Mr. Numbers being lovers in the game. However, compared to He Tian and Zhang Yu, Hatred Born Out of Love's words were much cruder. The first thing he said was that Shi Yao's high ranking for consecutive seasons was only because she slept with other players. He said that she was willing to go all out just to get ahead in the game. Of course, there were also people who stood up to refute Hatred Born Out of Love's words, but they were left speechless by Hatred Born Out of Love's words. Since you think that Shi Yao didn't sleep with other players, let me ask you this. Given the huge prize money in the tournament, why would others bring a burden like her along? His words immediately caused many people to doubt his words. You're right. No one is willing to bring a deep hole to a competition for no reason, right? Shi Yao already has Adonis Lin, so why is she dating someone else in the game? Does Adonis Lin know about this? It can't be helped. Beautiful women don't have to do anything at all. All they have to do is sell their bodies, and they'll be able to obtain whatever they want. But pardon me for being blunt, but I really can't understand Shi Yao. Is there a need for her to sleep with someone just for a game? Say, do you think Adonis Lin knows that Shi Yao has been flirting behind his back? I heard that there's something going on between Shi Yao and Han Jing from the art faculty. When I said there's something going on, I meant that they've slept together before. So, Adonis Lin was really made a cuckold, and it wasn't just one? It was no wonder why Zhang Yueha and He Tian were so angry. She had already known about the matter before coming to the forum, but even so, she still couldn't help but feel infuriated by their words. She also wanted to quarrel with them. Yao Yao, what are you looking at? Lin Jie's voice suddenly sounded from behind. Chapter 831. Lin Jie nearly fell to the ground. Yao Yao, you mustn't joke around like that. Shi Yao was taken aback by Lin Jie's words. It took her a moment to realize what she had said in a fit of rage, so she quickly added, I didn't make you a cuckold. It was the school forum. If you don't believe me, you can take a look for yourself. Hearing those words, Lin Jie immediately realized that Shi Yao had gone to the forum again. Without any hesitation, he hastened his footsteps. When Lin Jie finally caught up to her, Shi Yao raised her phone to his face and pointed to the screen. With an aggrieved look on her face, she spoke as if she was complaining. Look, they said that I slept with the second-place god in the server in order to raise my score in the game. The second-place god in the server. Isn't that him? So, after all that, it turns out that I'm the one who made myself a cuckold? Lin Jie immediately calmed down. However, The rumors on the forum weren't true. Sure Yao did sleep with him, but she didn't sleep with him. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej said, Yao Yao, why don't we verify the matter on the forum? What? It took Sure Yao a moment to process what he was saying. She tilted her head upward and blinked her eyes at Lin Jiej. It was only then that she realized what Lin Jiej meant. He wanted her to sleep with him. Without any hesitation, Sure Yao grabbed a pillow and threw it into Lin Jiej's embrace. Lin Jiej, is this the time to be concerned about such things? What we should be concerned about right now is that they're slandering me. Slandering me? Yes, yes, yes. Lin Jiej placed the pillow back to its original spot before sitting down in front of Sure Yao and pulling her into his embrace. Those people on the forum only know how to slander others. You clearly didn't sleep with me, but they insisted on saying that you were. Before Lin Jiej could finish his words, Sure Yao suddenly spoke up. They even said that I had an affair with Han Jing, and it's the kind of affair where we slept together. Let's see how you can remain calm then. With such thoughts in mind, Sure Yao stared at Lin Jiej intently. The calm Lin Jiej felt as if someone had smacked him in the head, and his expression immediately froze. 3 seconds later, when he spoke again, his tone was unusually angry. These people on the forum have nothing better to do, so they slander people for no reason. They dyed someone's hair green. Did they get permission from the other party? Satisfied with Lin Jiej's reaction, Sure Yao swiped her phone screen and showed Lin Jiej the conversation between Jiang Yu and He Tian Tian and Born Hate. Tian Tian and Jiang Yu couldn't stand it and quarreled with this person. Then, Tian Tian and Jiang Yu were angered by him and said that I would participate in the school tournament in my name and that I would kill 10 people to prove to them that I wasn't as weak as they said I was. Oh, go ahead then. I'll help you with the match. In any case, they won't know about it offline anyway. Lin Jiej felt that this matter was too easy to resolve. After saying those words, Lin Jiej noticed the unease in Sure Yao's eyes. Thinking that she was worried that he wouldn't be a match for them, he added, Don't worry. Putting aside 10 heads, even if it's 40 heads, I'll help you slaughter them all. But Tian Tian and Jiang Yu said that I'll broadcast the match live for them. Chapter 832. They even said in my name that if I can't kill 10 people, they'll live stream me eating shit. Lin Jiej, Lin Jiej. Whoever said those words should live stream themselves eating shit. But I've already accepted their potato chips and yogurt for 3 months, and I've already promised to forgive them. Lin Jiej. 10 people, huh? I don't think I can kill that many. Sure Yao hadn't thought much of it when she first accepted 3 months of potato chips and yogurt, but now that she thought about it again, she realized that it was more difficult than ascending to the heavens. She admitted that He Tian Tian and Jiang Yu were the greatest scammers, and they probably felt that they had done something wrong in the heat of the moment, so they came to apologize to her immediately. However, she herself had a problem too. She shouldn't have given in to the temptation of food and forgiven them. She should have told them to clarify on the forums that their words had nothing to do with her. But thinking about it, she still felt a little indignant. Hatred stemming from love was the one who had gone overboard. Even if Tian Tian and Jiang Yu hadn't messed things up, she still wanted to slap hatred stemming from love in the face. But this wasn't the way to slap someone's face. Sure Yao could already vaguely see herself eating shit during the live stream. What should I do, Lin Jiej? I can't kill 10 people. As she spoke, Sure Yao buried her head in Lin Jiej's chest and rubbed herself against it. Jijilin, I don't want to eat shit. Woo-woo. Lin Jiej's heart softened under Sure Yao's rubbing, and for some reason, he felt like laughing. Why was his soft bun so adorable? He reached out to stroke her hair and said, I'm here, it'll be fine. Of course it'll be fine. You're not the one who's live streaming myself eating shit. So what's the point of you being here? You'll just have to watch me live stream myself eating shit. The more Sure Yao spoke, the sadder she felt. She did like eating, but she didn't like eating shit. She was the one being insulted. So why did she, the victim, end up in such a state? Sure Yao felt as if she had lost all hope in life, but she was still a little indignant at the same time. So, she racked her brains over and over again. Eventually, she raised her head and stared at Lin Jiej with her black eyes, saying, Why don't you find a way to buy some laxatives and slip them in the canteen on the day of the match? This way, The contestants will keep running to the toilet during the match, and I'll be able to win. Linjiej. Linjiej. That's against the law. If I do that, I'll be locked up in the Public Security Bureau. Sob, 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 sob. Then what should I do? You can't really make me eat shit, right? I don't want it. If I lose, you can eat it for me. Linjiej. All right. Forget it. If you really eat sh*t in a live broadcast, I don't want you anymore. Linjiej Shiryao whimpered a few times. I think you should go and take some laxatives instead. Oh. Linjiej. Linjiej. You might as well ask me to create a cheat for you. Shiryao abruptly raised her head, and her eyes lit up. Is it really possible? Linjiej, I can, but I won't help you with it. This was the most basic quality of a gamer. However, as Soft Bun's boyfriend, there was no way he would sit idly by when his girlfriend had made such a huge mess. Chapter 833. I guess so? Hearing the uncertainty in Shiryao's voice, Linjiej raised his hand and stroked her long hair. Let me rephrase my question then. Do you feel the urge to return the favor after seeing how hatred born from love talks about you? Of course. This time, Shiryao's answer was resolute. Speaking of hatred born from love, Shiryao felt incomparably furious. I feel like torturing him from head to toe. I feel the same way too. Linjiej replied with a displeased look. So, let's return the favor. How do you intend to do that? Linjiej wasn't in a hurry to reply to Shiryao's question. Instead, he took out his phone and browsed through the forums. The competition is the day after tomorrow. We have an entire afternoon today and an entire day tomorrow. If you really wish to return the favor, we'll start training from now on. Training? That's right. I'll teach you step by step. Will it work? Shiryao wasn't doubting Linjiej but herself. From now on, don't think about the competition anymore. Just focus on the game and how you can play it well. As Linjiej spoke, he pulled Shiryao out of his embrace and stared into her eyes. No one is born with the ability to do something, so what you need to do now is to turn what you can't do into something you can do. Think about your long jump and your 3 kilometers dash. Why can't the game do those things that you're able to do? Besides, you've already fought with professional athletes with me. Even if your skills aren't that great, you might not necessarily be inferior to those amateurs from G University. The best way to deal with those haters on the forums is to shut them up with your strength. So, trust me. Just do as I say, and you'll definitely be able to do it. Shiryao's uneasy heart suddenly calmed down after hearing Linjiej's words. He was right. All along, she had only treated the game as a pastime, but that didn't mean that she wasn't good at it. Since they thought that she couldn't do it, she would show them that she could. With such thoughts in mind, Shiryao nodded fiercely at Linjiej and said, I'll listen to you. From now on, even if I don't eat, drink, or sleep, I'll make sure to slap their faces in the competition the day after tomorrow. And just as they had discussed, after lunch, Linjiej began teaching Shiryao step by step. When you walk, turn the steering wheel to sprint mode. That way, you'll save a lot of time. Whether it's running away from the blue circle or picking up items, it'll be much faster. If someone walks in front of you, don't panic. You have to sway your body left and right and hit him. This way, his bullets might not hit you, but you can hit him. This is called positioning. Remember, every time you shoot, you must reload. As time passed, under Linjiej's guidance, Shiryao's maneuvering grew smoother and smoother. By the afternoon of the second day, she was already capable of killing an opponent in a melee battle. Following that, Linjiej began teaching Shiryao the sniper rifle that she had always envied and yearned for. Long-range sniping requires you to control your fire. No, you won't be able to hit anyone like this. Let me show you. Try it. This is still not right. Linjiej taught Shiryao for a long while, but her shots were always in a state of empty air. In the end, with no other choice, he pulled Shiryao up and had her sit on his lap. Then, he pulled her into his embrace and held her left hand in one hand and right hand in the other. Aiming at a tree in the distance, he calmly fired and said, This is how you should control your fire. Don't panic. You have to be steady. Do you feel it? Initially, Shi Yao's attention was completely focused on the game, and Lin Jie's attention was completely focused on teaching her how to play the game. But eventually, Shi Yao gradually found the feeling of controlling her fire and got into the zone. After sniping a few people with her 98K, she would excitedly move her body from time to time, causing Lin Jie's body to tense up more and more, and his breathing to become uneven. Look, I've managed to snipe another person. I'm really going to become the best female sniper in the world. Immersed in the game, Shi Yao didn't notice the peculiar behavior of the man behind her. She gleefully turned her head around and boasted to Lin Jie. However, just as she was about to face Lin Jie, her lips were suddenly sealed by his. Chapter 834. But as soon as she turned her face toward Lin Jie, her lips were already pressed against his. She subconsciously tightened her grip on her phone, and following which, she heard the sound of footsteps and gunshots from the other end of the phone. After which, she heard the background music announcing that the character had been killed and had returned to the main lobby. After that, she closed her eyes and immersed herself in the kiss. She couldn't hear anything at all, and the only thing left in her mind was his scorching lips. The two of them kissed for a long time, and his breathing grew heavier and heavier. His hand couldn't help but slide to the hem of her clothes. Just as he was about to slip his hand under her clothes, he suddenly thought of something and stopped his actions. Pressing his lips against hers, he asked with a seductive tone, "Is your period gone?" Shi Yao was still in a daze from Lin Jie's kiss. It was a long time after he finished speaking that she finally came back to her senses. She first shook her head in confusion before realizing what he was trying to say. Then, she shook her head forcefully and replied, "Not yet." He didn't say anything else. Instead, he kissed her lips once more. His hand, which had fallen on the hem of her clothes, returned to her waist and wrapped around it tightly. This time, he didn't kiss her for too long. He rested his head on her shoulder and quietly hugged her for a while before asking, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" Eat. Having spent the entire afternoon gaming, Shi Yao was famished. She wanted to eat anything, but she couldn't think of anything to eat at the moment. Eventually, she turned to Lin Jie and asked, "What do you want to eat?" Her lips, which had been kissed by him earlier, were redder than usual. Hearing her voice, Lin Jie shot a glance at her face, and as soon as his lips touched hers, he felt a surge of blood coursing through his veins. Even the words that came out of his mouth didn't go through his brain. "I want to eat meat. I want to eat meat too. Beef, lamb, chicken, duck, goose, all of them." Lin Jie's gaze lingered on her lips for a moment before he forcefully averted his gaze. It took a lot of effort for him to maintain his composure and force himself to say okay. If not for his strong self-control, he would have replied with, "The meat I want to eat is called Shi Yao." The campus tournament organized by G University's gaming club was scheduled for 2:00 in the afternoon. He Tian and Jiang Yu had declared on the school forum that Shi Yao was going to conduct a live broadcast to prove her strength to everyone, causing a huge uproar. Taking advantage of the popularity of Shi Yao's matter, the person in charge of the gaming club decided to switch the offline competition to an online one. As for the competition venue, they rented the school's large conference hall. Because there were only 87 contestants, the remaining empty seats were used by the club to sell tickets. But the next day, when she arrived at the conference hall, she realized that there were quite a lot of people in G University who had nothing better to do. Other than the seats reserved for the contestants, the other empty seats were all filled up. In fact, it was even more packed than the school's New Year's Eve party. Shi Yao had lessons in the morning, and Lin Jie had a client meeting at noon. Thus, the ones accompanying Shi Yao to the match were Lung Wan, He Tian, and Jiang Yu. Chapter 835. Shi Yao was the only female participating in the tournament, and all of the participants were male. However, in the list of male participants, Shi Yao saw a name that she couldn't be more familiar with, Han Jing. Jiang Yu also saw the name Han Jing at the same time as Shi Yao. Senior Han? He's actually participating in the tournament as well. He Tian. That's weird. When did he start playing this game? Why didn't I know anything about it? Shi Yao didn't say anything, but she stared at the name Han Jing in deep thought. Yao Yao, what are you thinking about? The attentive Lung Wan noticed that Shi Yao was staring at the name list in He Tiantian's hands, so she couldn't help but ask. Shi Yao recovered from her daze. It's nothing. A moment later, Shi Yao saw a familiar figure walking out of the conference hall. Roughly guessing where that person was headed to, she said, the tournament is about to start. Nuan, accompany me to the washroom. Lung Nuan replied with an un. She passed her water bottle to He Tian and Jiang Yu before heading to the conference hall with Shi Yao. On the way to the washroom, Shi Yao suddenly asked, Nuan, do you think that the matter in the forum is really that simple? Why do you ask? Did you notice anything? Shi Yao shook her head silently. She continued walking with Lung Nuan for a while longer before she said, let's hope that I'm just overthinking things. Lung Nuan thought that Shi Yao was feeling uneasy due to the pressure from the tournament, so she patted Shi Yao's back lightly and said, don't think too much about it. It's just a tournament. Even though we have to fight for our pride, we all know that no matter who wins or loses, the bet won't come true. This wasn't what Shi Yao was worried about, but she would rather believe that she was overthinking things. So, she didn't bother explaining it to Lung Nuan. Instead, she nodded with a smile and replied with an un. Just as the two of them were about to reach the washroom, Shi Yao saw that person walking out from the washroom. She walked up to Lung Nuan and said without any warning, Nuan, I have an appointment with someone to get a tattoo the day after tomorrow. Tattoo? Why would you suddenly get a tattoo? Lung Nuan frowned. Shi Yao, I have a birthmark on my lower back. I really hate it. I want to embroider a rose on it. As Shi Yao said those words, she and Lung Nuan entered the washroom. When he came out of the restroom, there were only 5 minutes left before the match started. While Shi Yao was adjusting her earphones, she received a WeChat message from Lin Jiej. Remember what I've taught you in the past 2 days. Don't be nervous during the competition. Just treat it like a normal game. Just relax. Finally, good luck. As Shi Yao stared at the words good luck, Lin Jiej's clean and gentle voice drifted into her ears. Her heart suddenly softened, and the anxiety that she had been feeling due to the impending match suddenly calmed down. The match soon began. The 87 contestants who participated in the competition entered the room established by the club one after another. When everyone arrived, the competition officially began and everyone entered the birthplace island. A minute later, everyone boarded the plane and entered the island map. Shi Yao took a look at the flight route and saw that it was heading towards the school that she had been dropping off frequently for the past 2 days. Chapter 836. While she was jumping, Shi Yao kept Lin Jiej's words in mind. She scanned her surroundings carefully, and after getting a rough idea of where the other players were, she searched for a deserted area to land, look for houses, and pick up her equipment. Shi Yao's luck was rather good. After going through 3 houses, she managed to obtain a gun, bullets, a level 2 backpack, a level 2 armor, a level 1 helmet, and a small amount of medicine. In the 2 days of training, Lin Jiej had been repeating this phrase over and over again. Rather than looting a city, it's better to kill a person. Thus, after Shi Yao obtained the equipment, she memorized the landing spots of the people around her and found a house in the middle where they would enter to pick up the equipment. Then, she laid an ambush inside and waited patiently for them to come knocking on her door. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 25 seconds later, Shi Yao heard footsteps. Even though she had experienced such situations countless times over the past 2 days, she still couldn't help but feel a little nervous at this moment. She hid motionlessly in the corner of the room as she listened to the footsteps moving from the first floor to the second floor, gradually getting closer and closer to her. When the footsteps were so close that she thought that the person was already right in front of her, she held her breath and stared fixedly at the door on her phone screen as she hugged her gun tightly. 1, 2, 3. A character dressed in a trench coat appeared at the door. Shi Yao, who had her gun ready, charged at the figure without any hesitation and began firing furiously. That person had been busy picking up equipment the entire time. When he entered the room, he didn't see any footprints, so he thought that there was no one in the room. Thus, before Shi Yao could react, he was already turned into a crate. A row of words appeared on the screen in front of the conference hall. Yao loves ice cream. Eliminated. University G's attractiveness gang leader, with M416. The heck, girl, you're really a coward. A male voice sounded from the earpiece. Sure Yao knew that it was the voice of the person she had killed. Ignoring him, she bent down and started furiously looting his equipment. From his crate, Sure Yao happily picked up a 6x scope, 3 medkits, a level 3 helmet, more than 100 bullets, and an SKS sniper rifle. Lin Jiej had told Sure Yao that if she fired a shot here, the people in the vicinity would be able to roughly determine her location based on the sound of the gunshot, and she would have to retreat quickly lest they rush over and kill her. Thus, after she finished looting the first crate, she jumped out of the window without any hesitation and escaped. Lin Jiej had also told Sure Yao that escaping the blue circle required a car, and it was much safer than traveling on foot. Thus, when Sure Yao passed by the garage, she turned in and drove toward the safe zone. Along the way, she bumped into someone, and that person's HP was half gone. She was a little afraid, so she didn't get into the fight with him. While driving away, Sure Yao occasionally turned her head around to take a look, and she realized that the person was still relentlessly chasing after her. Thus, after entering the safe zone, she found a vantage point with a better view, replenished her health, and turned around to look for that person. While Yao had found an advantageous terrain, and fighting with the area, Sure Feng, and even though she had to kill her, she's still up.
Yao of and.
Yao, and comma, and on in, of Sure to heart. Chapter 837. Thus, Sure Yao continued to play the game according to the little tricks Lin Jiej had taught her. Lin Jiej said that she had to be the first to enter the safe zone and occupy a high vantage point with cover before surrounding the players trying to escape from the blue circle. Thus, Sure Yao would always enter the safe zone when there was only a minute left before the blue circle started shrinking. She would either hide in a 2-story building or behind a boulder on the mountain, hugging her gun and scoping in the direction of the blue circle to look for players. Just like that, Sure Yao obtained her 3rd kill, 4th kill, 5th kill. As the safe zone gradually shrank, Sure Yao did come across an airdrop. However, Lin Jiej had warned her time and time again that she shouldn't pick up an airdrop without absolute confidence. Nevertheless, she could still hide in a corner and wait for others to pick it up. Thus, Sure Yao obediently found a house, hid in it, and started to guard the airdrop. Soon, someone appeared in a car. Following the trick Lin Jiej had taught her, Sure Yao immediately fired at the driver's seat the moment the car came to a stop, and with that, she successfully claimed her 6th kill. She was still 4 kills away from 10. Sure Yao took a look at the remaining players. There were only 18 left. In other words, she still had to kill another quarter of the remaining players. That seemed a little difficult. While Sure Yao was still contemplating, another player died. There were only 17 players left. Sure Yao was getting a little anxious, but she still guarded the airdrop for a while longer. After confirming that there was no one else around, she finally jumped down from the building and picked up the airdrop as well as the box of the player she had just killed. Then, she drove the player's car and continued into the safe zone. In the midst of escaping from the blue circle, Sure Yao saw someone running toward the safe zone on foot. She turned the car around and rammed it into that person. Through sheer luck, Sure Yao managed to claim her 7th kill. Having looted an airdrop, Sure Yao was already a god. Thus, she didn't linger on looting the box anymore. Instead, she looked for a safe place to hide. Based on Lin Jiej's experience in the game, it was very easy for someone to hide on the slopes of the safe zone. They were either hiding behind boulders or trees. Thus, Sure Yao opened her scope and looked up the hill. She really did find someone. However, it wasn't just one person but 2, and they were fighting. She wasn't in a hurry to open fire. Instead, she waited for one of them to kill the other, and when the surviving player ran over to loot the box, Sure Yao picked up her sniper rifle and imitated the technique Lin Jiej had taught her. With a single shot, she killed the defenseless player and claimed her 8th kill. There were still 12 players left, and she still needed 2 more. Sure Yao watched as the safe zone continued to shrink. It would only take another 2 more rounds before they reached the final circle. As for the remaining survivors, they were likely to be quite skilled as well. Thus, Yao decided to give it a try. She waited for gunshots to echo from a certain location on her map before stealthily sneaking toward the source of the gunshots. She had to admit that her luck was a little. To think, she would be Yao and that person. Thus, without any hesitation, she raised her hand and killed that person. With just one more kill, hatred born out of love would lose. Chapter 838. In truth, storming a building was still a little difficult. After all, the building was at the top while you were at the bottom. As long as the enemy managed to hold their ground, it was easy for you to die. During the group training, Lin Jiej had taught Yao how to storm a building. She had to determine the enemy's position by listening to the sound, toss the grenades, and jump up to determine the enemy's approximate position when climbing the stairs. All in all, it was a little complicated. Yao had tried it out, but she had only succeeded once in the past 2 days of training. Yao wasn't completely confident in storming a building this time around. However, there were only 8 survivors left, and she only needed 1 kill to complete her mission today. If she didn't give it a try, it would be a regrettable end for her. At this point in the match, there was no reason for her to back down. Thus, Yao replayed the method Lin Jiej had taught her in her head before slowly following it step by step. There were miracles in this world, but behind every miracle, there was bound to be a person who had put in a lot of effort. In the many matches of the group training, Yao's success rate in storming a building had always been 0. But today, she had succeeded. She dashed up to the 2nd floor of the building and fired at the enemies while moving about randomly. It was only when she was out of bullets that she dared to look at the screen seriously. She was still alive, but the enemies were already dead. She had done it. She had obtained 10 kills. In that instant, Yao was so agitated that she wanted to send a message to Lin Jiej. However, she was still in the game, and the game hadn't ended yet. She could only suppress her impulse and continue on with the match. In any case, she had already achieved her goal, so there was nothing for her to hold back anymore. Thus, after entering the safe zone, she found a secluded spot and hid there, allowing the other players to fight. Just like that, bit by bit, Yao hid herself in the final circle until there were only 3 survivors left. Yao made use of this opportunity to kill the last remaining player while he was healing up. Yao loves ice cream. Eliminated. A few sceneries. With M416. A few sceneries. When she saw these words, Yao was stunned. Isn't that Han Jing's game ID? As this thought flashed across Yao's mind, a message appeared on her screen. Winner's chicken dinner. She won. Not only did she get 10 kills, but she also got 1st place in this competition. Furthermore, he had obtained it with his own strength. After ending the game, in the instant that Yao removed her earphones, she realized that her fingers were trembling. At this time, the conference hall was also in a riot, just like her. Yao got 1st place. That's right. He said he was a substitute player, but now he's been slapped in the face in front of the whole school. Why can't girls play well? Who made the rule that girls can't play games as well as boys? Yao, 666. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, Yao ran out and gave Lin Jiej a call. It was as if Lin Jiej had been waiting for her call. A second after the call connected, it was picked up. Lin Jiej, I've won. I've won. I've won. I know. Lin Jiej's elegant voice sounded in Yao's ears through the earpiece. Chapter 839. But there's something wrong with that voice. Yao was taken aback for a moment before realization struck her, and she abruptly turned around. Lin Jiej was standing right behind her with a bouquet of flowers in his hands. Yao stared at the flowers in astonishment for a moment before she raised her head to look at Lin Jiej. She exclaimed in delight, "Why are you here? Didn't you say that you had something to do in the afternoon?" Lin Jiej looked at Yao with a gentle gaze, but he didn't say a word. Instead, he passed the bouquet of flowers to her. He did have something to do, but no matter how busy he was, he still had to show his support for his girlfriend's tournament. Yao happily took the bouquet and took a whiff of its fragrance. Then, she noticed a small card hidden in the bouquet. She opened it up and took a look. Congratulations to student Shi Yao for winning first place in the PlayerUnknown campus tournament. Shi Yao's smile grew brighter and brighter. How did you know that I'd get first place? Are you that confident in me? Of course. Lin Jie's eyes shone with confidence. Don't you know who's grooming your girlfriend? Shi Yao pouted. Are you praising me or yourself? Of course I'm praising you. Isn't praising your boyfriend the same as praising yourself? That does seem to be the case. Shi Yao smiled once more as she took another whiff of the flowers. At the same time, in room 501 of the male dormitory, achoo. Achoo. After sneezing, Lu Binlai took a tissue and passed it to Xia Shangzhou, who had sneezed a minute earlier than him. After which, he took another tissue and wiped their noses together with Xia Shangzhou. After tossing the tissue into the trash can, they looked at the fresh flowers on the floor, bed, and table, and sneezed once more. Achoo. Lu Binlai hugged the tissue box tightly to his chest as he said, ever since boss had a little junior, he's been getting more and more coquettish. Xia Shangzhou snatched the tissue box from Lu Binlai's hands and wiped his nose as he said, coquettish? He's coquettish to the core. Last semester, he was the house's pulse. This semester, he's the house's fresh flowers, and next semester, he'll be the house's, achoo. Lu Binlai. Isn't it a little too fragrant when all these flowers are piled together? Oh, it's not fragrant, it's smoky. It's making my nose uncomfortable. Xia Shangzhou took out a disposable mask and put it on. Then, he casually pulled out a card from a bouquet of flowers, opened it, and read aloud. Congratulations to student Shi Yao for winning the 8th place in the PlayerUnknown Battleground Campus Tournament. Seeing that there was a card in the bouquet, Lu Binlai picked one up and read it. Congratulations to student Shi Yao for winning the 11th place in the PlayerUnknown Battleground Campus Tournament. Congratulations to student Shi Yao for winning the 80th place in the PlayerUnknown's Battleground Campus Tournament. Congratulations to student Shi Yao for winning the 57th place in the PlayerUnknown's Battleground Campus Tournament. Congratulations, student Shi Yao. The two of them gathered all the cards together and looked at each other for a while. Then, they threw the cards on the table and said in unison, I'm convinced. Xia Shangzhou emphasized again, I'm impressed. Lu Binlai, there are a total of 87 participants in the tournament, and our boss has 87 bouquets of fresh flowers. I take back my words. It's not that our boss is getting more and more coquettish because of Little Junior. It's just that our boss's coquettish skyrocketed after having Little Junior. How do you know that I can't be stronger than him? I just know that in my heart, my idol is the best. I don't care. Apologize to my idol. It's okay. He won't mind. How do you know that my idol won't mind? Apologize. Lin Jie, apologize. I just knew that he wouldn't. Before Lin Jie could finish his words, someone had already shouted Shi Yao's name. But this time, it wasn't Shi Yao, but Yao Shi. Shi Yao and Lin Jie turned their gazes over, and they saw an unfamiliar man. Chapter 841. While the man wasn't as tall as Lin Jie, he could still be considered as a tall man. His skin was a little tanned, but he was still quite handsome. How to describe it? It was the kind of facial features that, when taken apart and looked at individually, felt rather flat, but when put together, they were particularly pleasing to the eye. If the highest score for a person's attractiveness was 100, Shi Yao felt that this man's attractiveness was at least 85 plus. But even though she was interested in his looks, she couldn't help but feel perplexed, because she didn't know this man at all. Shi Yao hesitated for a moment before asking, Excuse me, are you talking to me? Yes, you must be Yao Loves Ice Cream, right? The WeChat ID is... The boy read out a few numbers. Not only did he know his in-game name, but he also knew his WeChat. Shi Yao subconsciously turned to look at Lin Jie. Perhaps Lin Jie was also a little surprised that the other party knew Shi Yao's private WeChat account. But before Shi Yao could say anything, he had already asked, Who are you? Don't be so nervous. I'm not a bad guy. The boy could tell that the two were on guard. He grinned. I'm Desolate Year. Barren Years? This name sounds a little familiar. Shi Yao tilted her head to the side as she tried to recall. Barren years? 361,000 wild men. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. An ominous premonition crept into Lin Jiej's heart. Seeing that the two of them weren't speaking at all, the young man thought that Shi Yao had really forgotten about him. So he spoke up once more. Yao, do you really not remember me? I'm being Sprout TV's Years of Desolation. During the summer holidays, we played games together for a long time, and we even arranged to meet. Shi Yao nodded in realization. Oh, I remember now. It's that Huang. Shi Yao nearly blurted out Yellow Year, but she hurriedly changed her pronunciation. Desolate Year. Yes, it's me. I came to G University to play today, and coincidentally saw that there was a campus competition, so I came to take a look. I didn't expect to bump into an old acquaintance. Let me introduce myself. I'm Lin Wei. If you're not used to it, you can call me Desolate Year like before. Old friend, do you know each other in real life? Claiming to be an old acquaintance? Today was really strange. After sending off one love rival, another love rival came. And they were both old love rivals. Lin Jiej stood by the side with a displeased look on his face. Nice to meet you. I'm Shi Yao. You can also call me Yao Shi like before. As the saying goes, it's better to show some courtesy when meeting. Even though they had a conflict on the internet, Shi Yao still felt that she should still be polite to the other party when they met in real life. Nice to meet you, Yao Shi. It's a pleasure to meet you. Desolate Time said as he extended his hand politely. Out of courtesy, Shi Yao stretched out her hand as well. However, before her hand could touch Desolate Year's, Lin Jiej had already grabbed Desolate Year's hand and said, Nice to meet you. I'm Lin Jiej, Shi Yao's boyfriend. Oh, nice to meet you, Shi Yao's boyfriend, Desolate Year said as he couldn't help but take a few more glances at Lin Jiej. Was it his imagination? Why did he find Yao Shi's boyfriend a little familiar? Chapter 842. Oh, I remember you. You're the second god in the entire server. Nice to meet you. Due to Shi Yao's interruption, Desolate Year stopped dwelling on the familiarity that Lin Jiej gave him. Instead, he raised his wrist to look at the time and asked, Where are you going? Are you going for dinner? If you don't mind, I wonder if we can have a meal together. I'm really sorry about what happened the other time. I've been wanting to apologize to you for a while now, Yao Shi. It can be said that fate has brought us together, so I really hope that you can give me a chance to properly apologize to you. Otherwise, I'll always be brooding over that matter. Desolate Year's words were very sincere. The earnest Shi Yao felt that it would be a little too heartless if she were to reject him. However, she didn't make a decision on her own. Instead, she took Lin Jiej's thoughts into consideration and turned to look at him. Seeing that Shi Yao was looking at Lin Jiej, Desolate Year also turned to look at Lin Jiej and said, God, I've always admired you, and I'm truly moved to meet you today. No matter what, I'm begging you to agree to treat me to a meal. As if fearing that Lin Jiej would reject him, Desolate Year took out his wallet and took out his identity card. I'm really a law-abiding citizen. I'm not a bad person. Let me show you my identity card. Shi Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter at Desolate Year's actions. Lin Jiej also found this wild man to be quite interesting, so he pondered for a moment before agreeing to it. All right then, we can have a meal together, but I won't need you to treat us. No, I'll treat you. I'm the one who has wronged Yao, so how can I ask you to treat me? Let's make a deal. I'll pay. No, you're misunderstanding. Lin Jiej interrupted Desolate Year's chatter. It's not that I'm embarrassed to ask you to treat me, but I'm the only one who can raise Yao. Desolate Year. Was he being forced to eat dog food unknowingly? Was he imagining things? Why did he feel like he had done something wrong? He shouldn't have had a meal with them. Would he regret it after this meal? As it turned out, Desolate Year's intuition was spot on. Even though he wasn't regretting it, he still felt a little heartache during the meal. After all, he had been treated like a dog throughout the entire meal. They want to eat roast duck. Throughout the entire meal, Shi Yao only had eyes for food, whereas Lin Jiej only had eyes for Shi Yao. When the food on Shi Yao's plate ran out, Lin Jiej immediately filled it up. When the drink in Shi Yao's cup ran out, Lin Jiej immediately filled it up. When the soup in Shi Yao's bowl reached the bottom, Lin Jie immediately filled it up. Huang Yin looked at the two people in front of him and suddenly felt a little lonely. Then, he couldn't help but take out his wallet, open it, and stare at a photo inside. He looked at it carefully, and as he looked, he rubbed the photo with his fingers. In the end, he even looked very sad inside. Noticing this sight, Shi Yao couldn't help but ask curiously, "Desolate year, what are you looking at? You look a little sad." "Look at the girl I still can't forget." Huang Yin stared at the photo and sighed again. As a woman, she couldn't help but succumb to the temptation of romantic gossip. Thus, she craned her neck to take a look at the person in the photo and asked, "Who is it? May I have a look?" Chapter 843. Sure. Desolate Year generously passed his wallet over to Shi Yao. "Actually, you know this girl, Yao Shi. We used to play together a lot." Following Desolate Year's words, Shi Yao saw a photo in Desolate Year's wallet. The photo was printed out, so the quality wasn't too high. Even so, Shi Yao could tell that the girl that Desolate Year had been thinking about was a rare beauty. Humans tended to pay more attention to beautiful things, so Shi Yao couldn't help but take a few more glances. On the other hand, Lin Jie didn't seem to care about Desolate Year's personal life at all. He was wholeheartedly helping Shi Yao roll a duck cake. Just as he was about to feed the duck cake to Shi Yao's mouth, he noticed that Shi Yao was still staring at the wallet, so he couldn't help but ask, "Is it really that beautiful? Even rice?" As Lin Jie spoke, he subconsciously glanced at the wallet in Shi Yao's hand. But when he saw the photo, his expression suddenly warped and his hand trembled, causing the duck cake to fall into the bowl in front of Shi Yao. "The heck? Are you for real? The girl that 361,000 wild men can't forget. It's actually a cross-dressing photo of me? Desolate Year must be really vicious. He actually saved a photo of me, printed it out, and even kept it in his wallet. This photo is the nightmare and stain of my life." Lin Jie could feel that his mental state was slowly beginning to waver. "So, it's this B*TCH. Before the word B*TC could come out of her mouth, Shi Yao hurriedly swallowed it back down. This was the most detestable person she had ever met in the game. She had even given her a nickname, B*TCH White Lotus. She nearly blurted it out just like that, but it was fortunate that she managed to react in time. Otherwise, Desolate Year would surely be displeased. Shi Yao gulped down a mouthful of saliva as she forcefully turned the word B*T into the word B*T. Beautiful big sister. He could accept the fact that she was beautiful, but as for big sister, he rejected her. Lin Jie tried his best to calm himself down. "Lin Jie, take a look. Isn't this lady very beautiful?" Shi Yao said as she passed the photo over to Lin Jie. Lin Jie really couldn't bear to look at his effeminate self in the photo, so he only took a quick glance before replying with a casual "un." Noticing Lin Jie's perfunctory attitude, Shi Yao pouted in dissatisfaction. Lin Jie quickly replied, "In my eyes, you're the prettiest." Just like the weather in June, Shi Yao's complexion instantly brightened up. Looking at the smiling Shi Yao before him, Desolate Age felt as if he had been forcefully stuffed with a bowl of dog food once more. He secretly patted his lonely and wounded little heart before saying sentimentally, "Indeed, little cutie is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Back then, I was an unrestrained wild horse, galloping through a field of flowers without a single leaf touching me. But when I met little cutie, she was like a little enchantress who could cast magic, stealing my heart with ease, little demoness. Was it appropriate to place her on his body? Also, steal his heart. He was a man. What did he need his heart for?" Chapter 844. In the end, it turned out that Desolate Year wasn't his love rival, but Soft Bun's love rival. Pooey, where's the joy? Thinking about how he was remembered by a man, and the wallet that he carried with him contained his photo, how was this a mixture of sadness and happiness? It was clearly a mixture of sadness and sadness, the second degree of sadness. Compared to Lin Jie, Shi Yao was more interested. "Desolate Year, It sounds like you've really fallen for little cutie. That's right. As there wasn't any alcohol, Desolate Year picked up the cup of soy milk in front of him and gulped it down. I've really fallen for her. Even though I don't know how I fell for little cutie, I didn't think much of it when we got separated at Beijing railway station. I thought that this was the end of our fate, and I knew that I might have been deceived by little cutie. But as the days passed, in the dead of the night, I started thinking about little cutie more and more, thinking about him in the dead of the night. Could it be that he was imagining things when he thought about Soft Bun in the dead of the night? Lin Jiej had only created a simple illusion in his mind, but his mind had already collapsed. The image was too beautiful for him to look at. Even though no one knew who Desolate Year's little cutie was, he couldn't bear the thought of a man hugging his photo in the dead of the night. No, 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 I can't let this happen. I have to make Desolate Year give up on me. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiej spoke up. I advise you to wake up. Your one-sided love will never come to fruition. Desolate Year couldn't accept Lin Jiej's direct words. He felt that it was a huge blow to him. How do you know that it won't come to fruition? I leave messages for little cutie every day. Who knows, she might just come back one day. Even though Lin Jiej was her boyfriend, Shi Yao felt that his words were too much. Desolate Year had fallen in love with someone, but that person was ignoring him. How pitiful and infatuated. She should be consoling him instead. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao glared at Lin Jiej and consoled him. Desolate Year, I believe in you. Little cutie will definitely be moved by your infatuation. Not in this lifetime. Lin Jiej blurted out without hesitation. Not even in the next lifetime. Desolate Year, who had just been consoled by Shi Yao, suddenly felt his heart wrenching once more. Shi Yao glared at Lin Jiej in displeasure. She walked up to him and warned him with a soft voice. Look at how sad the famine era is. Can't you console him a little? He's quite pitiful too, and judging from his expression, it's clear that he really likes little cutie. At this point, Lin Jiej was already on the verge of a mental breakdown, and he said anxiously, he can love anyone, but he can't love cutie Xiao. Why? Shi Yao felt that something was amiss, and she looked at Lin Jiej. Chapter 845. Hearing Lin Jiej's words, Shi Yao nodded in agreement. What should we do then? What else can we do? We have to help him. I didn't expect you to be so passionate, Lin Jiej. Darling, this isn't the time to talk about this. Huang Nian, who had been ignored, couldn't help but clear his throat as he watched the two of them whispering to each other. However, Shi Yao and Lin Jiej were too engrossed in their conversation to even look at him. Shi Yao, oh, that's right. Tell me, how should we help him then? There's a saying that goes, the best way to walk out of a broken heart is to fall in a new one. So, we have to find a way to make him fall in love with someone else. Lin Jiej thought that this was a brilliant idea. It didn't matter who the 361,000 man fell in love with. Even if it was a single auntie in the cafeteria or an old man in front of a school, it didn't matter as long as it wasn't him. That sounds reasonable. Shi Yao turned around and looked at Desolate Year. Thinking that Shi Yao and Lin Jiej had finally thought of him, Desolate Year was just about to speak up when Shi Yao retracted her gaze and leaned over to Lin Jiej's ear to continue whispering, You don't say? Desolate Year is really quite handsome. Tian has been complaining about finding a boyfriend in the dormitory every day, and she even said that you're her Adonis, so if I were to take you in, I'd have to give her another Adonis. I think that Desolate Year's looks meet Tian's requirements, so we should find a time to invite Desolate Year out for a meal and bring Tian along. Besides, he's a big streamer, so he should earn quite a bit. Yup, I think this arrangement is perfect. What Lin Jiej wanted was for Desolate Year to give up on him, so as long as it wasn't her, he had no objections. Seeing that Lin Jiej had agreed to it, Shi Yao turned to Desolate Year and asked, Desolate Year, are you free in a few days? We have a gathering. Do you want to join us? Just the two of you? Desolate Year asked. No, I have many friends. Oh, I can go then. If it was just the two of them, he wouldn't have come even if he was beaten to death. Let's add each other on WeChat then. We'll get in touch later. After Shi Yao and Desolate Year added each other as friends again, the three of them continued eating. After dinner, Lin Jiej paid the bill, and the three of them walked out of the restaurant. Just as they were about to part ways at the entrance, a thought suddenly came to Lin Jiej's mind, and he suddenly called out to Desolate Year, are you still going to live stream tonight? Of course, I'll be broadcasting every day unless I'm held up by something. Lin Jiej nodded lightly, indicating that he understood. A moment later, he asked, shall we go together later then? Desolate Time agreed readily, sure. Lin Jiej fell silent. Shi Yao and Desolate Year waved goodbye and said a sweet goodbye before the three of them parted ways. After returning to the academy, just as Shi Yao was about to enter her dormitory, Lin Jiej suddenly pulled her back and said, right, don't forget about the gathering tomorrow night. Shi Yao knew that Lin Jiej was referring to the Lin family's monthly family gathering, so she nodded with a smile and replied with un. Lin Jiej reached out to stroke Shi Yao's hair and said, it's cold outside. Hurry up and go in. See you in the game later. Chapter 846. Thinking about it, this was the first time she'd taken the initiative to kiss Lin Jiej. Shi Yao ran all the way back to her dormitory room. Her heart was still beating furiously. He Tian, Jiang Yu, and Lung Wan were nowhere to be seen, so there was no one in the dormitory room. Shi Yao leaned against the door to calm herself down for a moment before grabbing her towel and pajamas and heading to the bathroom. After her shower, Shi Yao saw an unread message on her phone. It was from Lin Jiej, asking her to go online to play. As Shi Yao logged into the game, she picked up the bottles and started smearing them on her face. She accepted Lin Jiej's invitation, and when she entered the room, she saw that there were already 3 people inside. 111,111, Desolate Years of Bean Sprout TV, and Juice. Just as Shi Yao was about to enter the game, she turned on her voice chat and asked, where's the expert? Are we going to abandon him just like that? Juice, my grandson abandoned us. He went off to become a driver. Shi Yao didn't really understand what was going on. 111,111, replied. He was called away by my sis to work overtime. Oh, so it was Sis Jai who called him away. Right after Shi Yao said those words, the owner of the room, Desolate Years of Bean Sprout TV, started the game. Desolation was live streaming. After he landed, he started spouting nonsense as usual. I still like you. Just like an airdrop, I'm willing to chase after you even if it's thousands of miles away. I still like you. Just like a car with you. It's home wherever it goes. I still like you. Just like the mutual attraction between Magnum and AWM. Note, Magnum is the bullet of AWM. But before Desolate Years could finish his words, 111,111 had already spoken up. Yao Yao, Shi Yao, what's wrong? 111,111. Come over. I have something good to show you. Oh. Shi Yao took a look at the mini-map, and after finding Lin Jiej's location, she ran over to him. Juice. Boss, what are you going to show little Junior? I want to see it too. Desolate Years of Bean Sprout TV. Me too. As Juice and Desolate Years spoke, Shi Yao saw 2 people running toward Lin Jiej from different directions on the mini-map. The 3 of them arrived around the same time, but Lin Jiej ignored them. Instead, he waited for Shi Yao to walk over and said, come with me. Then, he turned around and walked to a nearby road. Shi Yao held onto the pistol that she had picked up just now and followed Lin Jiej. When they reached the middle of the road, Lin Jiej suddenly stopped and pointed the tip of his spear straight ahead, indicating for Shi Yao to take a look herself. Out of curiosity, Shi Yao took a few steps forward and saw a huge pile of bullets scattered all over the road. When she got closer, she realized that the bullets were arranged in the shape of a heart. There were 3 letters and 3 numbers written on it. Yao, 520. Isn't that the pinyin for Yao, I love you? Shi Yao circled around the pile of bullets several times before she finally ran up to Lin Jiej and asked, were you the one who set up all of these? Yao asked. Wei, Lin brother Lin. Jiao, yes. Let me show you something you like even more. As Lin Jiej said those words, Shi Yao saw him aiming his gun at the wall in front of them. She subconsciously turned her head to look at the wall, and with a series of gunshots, A bullet hole in the shape of a heart was left on the wall. Wah! Amidst Shi Yao's shocked exclamation, Juice suddenly spoke up, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.